Hello, today I am setting up my computer such that I can do screen recordings. I'm using OBS Studio. First of all, let's fix the sound, because you can see action in the microphone when there's no sound. So let's go with -1.2 dB and then add filters. So the list of filters is this one: noise suppression, nothing to configure here, noise gate, this is close -40, open -34, next, compressor, next limiter, and next invert polarity. Close. So now when I don't speak anything, in the microphone volume you will see 0. Okay, no action in the microphone. Okay, the next thing to do is to actually look at the screen recording and see if we like the video and the audio. So stop recording and then open the recording in my favorite video player, which is called SM Player. I'm on Ubuntu 23.10 and this is a fresh installation. Okay, so I have seen and listened to the recording. The recording is done by OBS Studio in my home directory with today's day and the timestamp when the recording has started. So let's see the generated MKV file, which should be X264 encoding in a Matroska container. So double click on the MKV file. Hello, today opens I'm setting up SM Player such that I can do screen recordings. Let's put on mute. I've already listened to the audio. I know that the sound is okay. The next thing that I probably do is I put the desktop on mute. So 99% of times I do not want to record the sound of the desktop. I just want to record the sound of my microphone. Okay. Then in SM Player I do not like all of these Chrome, so all of the components that are not the actual content. So for that I'm going to go video and compact mode Ctrl+C. That's more like it. Okay. In SM Player I use shortcuts very similar to mplayer MPV, which is the arrow keys on my keyboard: left arrow key, down arrow key, right arrow key, up arrow key, in order to scroll through the video. It's really fast. The scrolling is really fast because the file is local and I have an NVMe SSD. Okay, so everything looks okay. The resolution looks okay. The video capture looks okay. We can close the screen recording now. And let's see how I configured OBS Studio. First of all, I needed to change the resolution on my monitor from the default native resolution to 1080p, because I'm recording at 1080p at 30 frames per second. So this is done. I'm on Ubuntu 23.10, which is the latest and greatest release of the operating system. It's running KD Plasma Desktop. This is the system settings, so the settings application. I search in here for resolution. It takes me to display configuration. And in here I select 1080p, which is 1920 by 1080, and press apply. Okay. The next thing is to install OBS Studio. I have more options. I can install OBS Studio probably via Flatpak, possibly via Snap. Maybe there's also something available on the official website of the OBS Studio, but I'm going with the deb packages from my Linux operating system. So for that, I'm going to search for available packages, and the search line, the command line is this one, apt search OBS, and then grep OBS. And I'm looking for applications, so not something that starts with lib, not something that's about programming language such as Mono, and probably starts with OBS. Okay, there's many packages in here. OBS CLI, I'm not sure if it's about OBS Studio or the OpenSUSE build software service. Okay, I can see in here OBS Studio, this thing, OBS-Studio. So this is indeed the package name, deb package name. And then I've installed sudo apt install OBS-Studio. And it installs a number of packages. So VLC components, which VLC is the VLC media player. Okay. And then OBS Studio is available in the start menu, which is this one. I go multimedia, OBS Studio. Okay. When I start OBS Studio the first time, the OBS Studio first run wizard will be displayed. And this is a wizard with 3 pages. And this is what I have selected in the various pages of the wizard. So first of all, it asks if I want streaming or recording. I say I want recording. I'm not doing streaming. There's also the possibility of virtual camera. So whatever you have configured in OBS Studio will be exported as a Linux webcam to be used in other applications such as Zoom, Meet, Jitsi, etc. I'm not for that, so I selected optimize just for recording. Okay. The next one asks what resolution I want. It sees that the current resolution of my desktop is 1080p, and that's exactly what I want to use. That's why I have changed the resolution of my desktop, such that the resolution of the desktop is 1080p. The video capture from OBS Studio is 1080p, and then the generated x264 MKV file is also 1080p. Okay, for frames per second, 30 is more than enough because I'm just moving my mouse around and I'm typing things, I'm using desktop applications. Okay, and then it tries to find out if my hardware has hardware acceleration for encoding video. It cannot find anything suitable, and that's a good thing, because software video encoding is more than enough for me. At 1080p, I have more than enough hardware to throw at this problem, and then the software video encoder is always good. It never skips frames, it never generates funny frames. So the software video encoder is the best, but maybe you're recording at 4K or something and software video encoding cannot keep the pace with you, but it can keep with me at 1080p and 30 frames per second. Okay, so this is the final wizard page, the third one. Then I went apply settings. Then the next thing I needed to fix the sound because I have noise around me and I need to have the best sound possible. These are the settings that I use. I don't exactly know what they do. They seem to work for me. I just copied them from this YouTube tutorial. The next thing for us would be to get the font which I use for my thumbnails. So let's try to find it. I'm not sure what the license of this font is. Hopefully nobody will get upset with me using this font. Okay. I've downloaded the font in my today's directory, so URW impact W01 bold condensed TTF. TTF means true type font. The other type of font files in Linux desktop is OTF, open type format. So I double click on the TTF file. It opens with a font viewer from KDE. And I have the button to install. Do you wish to install the fonts for personal use, which means it will be installed in my home directory, and that's what I want. Please note that any open applications will need to be restarted before the font will be available in the applications. That's conservative, so if you really log out and log in or restart your computer, then certainly all applications will start seeing this font. Okay, and that's about it. I put my windows to use either half of the screen or a quarter of the screen. I sometimes have notes, show notes. The applications that I usually use are these ones. Crusader, which is my file manager. I do not use KDE's Dolphin. Then a terminal, which in my case is console from the KDE community. As web browser, I'm using Mozilla Firefox private browsing mode. And before starting any recording, I'll need to actually clean the history of Mozilla Firefox. For that, I go open menu and then history. Where are you? I need to open a non-private browsing one. History, clear recent history. I only keep selected history, browsing and download history. I select everything as time range and then I go clear now. This way I do not get funny results when I search by typing something in the URL address bar in Mozilla Firefox private browsing while doing the screen recording. So now we have two MKV files. We'll need to join these two together using the command line ffmpeg executable. Let's first trim the end or the beginning of one of these movies. So we're going to rename the first one as 1.mkv, the second one as, where are you? 2.mkv. Then we're going to listen to the second one. And let's pretend that the last 2 minutes are not okay, so we should cut them at the end time 10 minutes 00. Okay, so the name of the file is 2.mkv. The command line is this one. So it's 10 minutes and then 00 the end time. The start time is 0000. The name of the file, input file, is 2.mkv. The name of the output file is output2.mkv. First of all, we'll need to make sure that ffmpeg is installed. So let's check. Yeah, it's installed, but still, let's do a sudo. Okay, nothing really to install. And I'm running the command straight in Crusader, the file manager, in the terminal, which you can enable in the Crusader main menu, settings, show embedded terminal, Ctrl-Alt-E. I'm copying this command line there. Paste. So it will take the second movie, 2.mkv, as input. We'll copy it as is, will not change the audio, will not change the video. Encoding, nothing, it will just trim the part starting from the minute 10.00 until the end. That will be deleted. Okay, let's make this to output. Okay. So now we can see the two files side by side, 2.mkv 38 megabytes, to output.mkv 31 megabytes. And if we play it in the SM player, media player, we can see that the length of the video is 10 minutes exactly, which is what we wanted. The next thing that we want is to concatenate the two MKV files. For that, I have a txt file named vidlist, so videolist.txt. In here, I have two videos that I want to concatenate. This one, 1.mkv, and the other one, which is called to output. Okay, Control X, Control S. And then I have a simple shell script that just calls this command line, which concatenates all of the. So it looks at the input vidlist.txt, which is a plain text file, which has a certain structure. So it on each line there's the string file, then space, then simple quote, then just the file name, not the file path of a MKV file, and then closing single quote. You can have as many lines like this as you want. In this case, I have two. So file 1.mkv, file 2 output.mkv. Okay, and then concat.mkv will just call ffmpeg, will concatenate all of the files with names in this list. And again, will not change the codec for audio, for video, and will generate a MKV file named a.mkv. So let's run this concat.mkv. You can run it like this. Okay, and it finished. it has created this longer file a.mkv, which is a concatenation of 1.mkv and 2 output.mkv. So it's 31 megabytes plus 6 megabytes, 37 megabytes in size, without losing anything in quality. So it's lossless. It concatenates the audio part, it concatenates the video part, and that's it. Does not do any filters, any codec conversion, anything, any resolution conversion. Okay, it's just the two videos concatenated. Okay, now we have the final file. So this will be the MKV file that I upload to YouTube. And now I'll need a screenshot. Okay, so for the screenshot, or for the thumbnail, yeah, I need to create a 1080p image. That will be a capture of my current screen. So let's have the show notes, for instance. Make them bigger, make the fonts larger. Okay, and then what can we do? Let's put a OBS Studio in here. And that's about it. Let's do a screenshot. So print screen. It uses Spectacle, which is the built-in screenshot tool application in KDE Plasma. I want to take a screenshot of the entire screen, including the KDE Plasma panel, because I want the resolution to be 1080p and the aspect ratio to be kept at 16:9. So we can, for instance, save the screen recording. Let's put it in today's directory. Okay, what was this about? Set up OBS Studio. Oh. Okay. And now we're going to put a bit of text on top of the thumbnail using GIMP. So let's make sure that we have GIMP installed. In Debian it was always called GIMP. Hopefully that's the name of the package. Do you want to continue? Yes. I pressed enter because uppercase Y was the default option. Okay. So now let's do GIMP in here. I'll do my terraforming. So I do not want the right hand side panel. I want layers on the left side, the layers tool window. I do not want these other tool windows, none of those. And no space for the right tool window. Okay. In here, so on the left side, the list of tools. In the bottom, layers. In the middle, tool option. And history. So that's enough. Let's see if we can open the file. So this is the file. Okay. And we're going to write something. So text. Let's make this text the font that we have just installed, which is URW Impact. Okay, this thing should be, I don't know exactly the size. And the color should be red. Set up in just one word. using OBS Studio tutorial. Okay, I'll need to make the fonts bigger, so Ctrl A. I'll make the fonts cover most of the screen. This looks okay. The fonts are not always readable because there's various colors on the background, so might be white, might be black. Okay, and now I'm going to go filters and decor bevel 6. Okay, okay, that should be it. The bevel is not really visible, it's too small. Okay, this could be it. File, export as, where we were. Control Alt C. Can we do it like this? And let's put a 1 at the end. Export, so press enter twice. And let's see the products of our labor. So first of all, the file that's with a 1 at the end, this guy, shown as at a really small resolution. So let's make this as small as possible and see if it's readable or not. So using OBS has a strange background, but that's the best I know how to do. Okay, this will be probably it. And then the MKV video for upload is this one. 12 minutes, so 10 minutes for the second screen recording part, and for the first part, the rest 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Okay, so that's about it. That's my procedure on how to create screen recordings. Thank you.